Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to West Ham United and to the transfer show today. Not the daily, but a transfer show. But hey, it's all the same, bringing you content when we can on various subjects related to West Ham. Today, it's all about our left back position. It's a rumour that was knocking around probably in the last 2 or 3 transfer windows that apparently we're interested in signing Barcelona left back Junior Firpo, or he prefers to be known as Junior, from the club. Quite an interesting player, really, Junior Firpo. He started his career at a club called Puerto. I'm not going to get the pronunciation right on this, but he did his under-19s trial at a club in Spain. And he was quickly snapped up by Real Betis, where he made 87 appearances, 7 goals and 7 assists for Betis. And in the time there, he played for the under-19s, the B team, and then the Betis senior team. And that's where he got noticed by Real Madrid. And Real Madrid decided to snap Firpo up. And they signed him for a fee of around £18 million in 2019. Now, in that time, he's not made that many appearances for the club. 41 appearances in total, only 2 goals and 3 assists. And this season alone, he's only made 18 appearances with 1 goal and 1 assist. Now, it's rumoured that he's valued at around £14 million, which for West Ham United shouldn't be beyond our means. However, with Firpo, you could see that the return doesn't look as great. He had a great start in his career in Spain, for Real Betis. Decent for a left back. He can play left back or he can play left wing back. Shades of Arthur Masuaku. He's been compared to, it's quite a big feat this, he's been compared to Marcelo and Roberto Carlos. Now, to be compared to those kinds of players, you need to have an end product in terms of either your goals or your assists. And you can see that Firpo or Junior, as he prefers to be called, hasn't quite got that. So how he's compared in that style, I don't know. Now, tactical prowess. He's very good on the ball. He's meant to be a clever left back. He plays football. He's not just a defender. He likes going forward. He likes attacking, to be more of an attacking left back, which I guess you could argue again sounds like our very own Masuaku. He's got pace to burn. He's when he was playing for Betis, he was able to get down that flank, get the ball in, crosses, etc. 7 goals, 7 assists is not bad when you play as a left back. So he likes to be an attack-minded left back. But is that the sort of player that we need at West Ham United? Do we need a player that's very attack-minded, or do we need to be looking at a player that's going to be looking at more, rather than sort of competing with Masuaku, more? We should be looking at maybe replacing Cresswell, not because Cresswell's done anything wrong, but Cresswell, is 32 years of age now, and it's probably time that we started to look at a real left back to compete with him. Now, it's great to have someone that's good attack minded. It's great to have someone that can go down the flanks, etc. But I'm just a little bit concerned about this rumor. And and as I mentioned, he's been mentioned he's been linked to us at the time when Pellegrini was at West Ham, and nothing's come of it. So maybe he's the sort of player that might suit the Pellegrini style. when Pellegrini was with us. But would he suit the Moyes style? I don't know. Another thing that's would be of a concern is that when Barcelona signed him, they slapped in his contract a 172 million pound sell-on fee. That clearly hasn't worked out. It's amazing what Barcelona do in order to try and keep their players. 172 million pound sell-on fee, which now he can be made available for just 14 million. However, he's on 100 grand a week. Now, give or take, he's on roughly about £100,000 a week. So our top players are earning 115 grand a week, etc. And they're the likes of Lingard. We know that Declan Rice is going to be given a better contract, which will be there or thereabouts, probably the best paid player at West Ham. We know there are one or two other players that are on that salary. But a left back, no disrespect to our left backs, but would you take a left back that kind of did okay at Real Betis, hasn't necessarily set the world on fire at Barcelona, hasn't got an awful lot of game time there. Go back to that stat where he joined Barcelona. In total, since 2019, 41 appearances, 2 goals, 2 assists. So are you going to pay a player that sort of salary, 100 grand a week, when he's not really made that many appearances? I think that would sort of ruffle a few shirt tails at West Ham United. So I can't really see this happening. Apparently we're in advanced talks. Apparently we're in competition with Southampton over the player. I don't know if this is the kind of. I mean, you're going to get a hell of a lot of transfer rumours coming that we're going to give you over the weeks, over the days, over the weeks, and there's going to be an awful lot of stuff that we're going to talk about that really kind of doesn't ring true. Do we need a left back? Without a shadow of a doubt. Would Firpo be a decent player to add in? Probably more as a left wing back rather than as a left back. He's certainly got pace. I remember talking about him, like I said, about a year or so ago, and I thought, decent player. He might well fit into the Pellegrini ethos, but I'm not so sure about him fitting into the David Moyes ethos. But the thing that breaks it for me is the £100,000 a week salary. We're not going to pay that. So are we really in for him? Maybe. But I don't think we're going to do it. But Barcelona, as we know, they're extremely skint. They need the money. They need to offload players off their payroll. And they will be happy to accept a 13, 14, 15 million pound fee for this player who's not getting an awful lot of game time. But it's all dependent on West Ham whether we want to pay that sort of salary. What do you think? Let's have a look at your comments and see what you guys think of him. Good afternoon, D. Lee. I hope you're well, mate. Thank you for joining. Sean, hello, mate. Thanks for the thumbs up. Good afternoon, Mick. I hope you're well. Ethan, hello, mate. I hope you're well as well. Sean, is this one of a Sully special? Thought Moyes would unearth some more of a bargain. This is exactly why I don't think it's going to happen, because I think Moyes is going to look maybe closer to home as he normally does. Like I said, the link happened way back when Pellegrini was here, and it hasn't materialised. So I really don't think. I just don't see this as a goer, to be honest with you. Hello, Epic. I hope you're well. I think Moyes has been lucky with recent signings. Historically, he's been quite bad. Well, I don't know about that. I think he's unearthed one or two. I think he's been very lucky with us. Every player he's signed so far has done quite well. Who is this junior fella? I hope I've just explained to you, Dealey. George Mayer, hello, mate. Left back for Barcelona. Not sure how good, though. Well, if he was good, I think we would all agree he would have got more game time. And if he was good, I think we can all agree he wouldn't be available for around 14 million. D again, D Lee, Barca is skint. Absolutely. Oh, sorry, it's jumped. It always jumps, so I apologise. CC, good afternoon. Epic, that's actually not true. What did Epic say? I think he's been lucky historically. Yeah, I agree, CC. I think I think there are some players that they kind of go under the radar, the Moyes signings, don't they? So they're not the big, sort of the players that you remember. But he's bought players that have done a job for him. But mind you, he has had a few dusts. The chap who now plays for Norwich City, the striker, can't remember his name when he was with us the first time round. That was a bit of a duff, wasn't it? Ironclad, did you see the report on Jack Sullivan? But please don't listen to shit like that. Sorry. Jack Sullivan is not going to be made director of football at West Ham United. It's total guff. Don't believe it. And we've also we asked about it, and we've had it confirmed that there's just no way on earth that he's going to be made director of football, or certainly not in the next few years anyway. Good afternoon, Fo. Good afternoon, Scott. I hope you're both well. Afternoon, Mark. All old rumours. Absolutely not sure how true. I think not true at all. I think it's absolutely, and when I was reading, I've been reading the stuff this week. There's a hell of a lot of stories that were knocking around a year ago, year and a half ago. So I don't think there's much in it, Mark. I kind of agree with you. Good evening, Caden. Thanks for joining again. Sunderland fans, the Epic are angry that he wasted a relatively big budget on crap players. I think he came in at a time when it was quite bad for him anyway, wasn't it? Gary, hello, mate. I'm very well. I hope you're well. James, oi, oi to you. I hope you're well. Kent, transfer rumor has been about for about 18 months. Young, good player. Yeah, he's okay. And maybe for a team like West Ham, might be okay. But 100 grand a week, just can't see it happening. Good afternoon, Father Snowman. How are you? I hope you're not melting in this heat. Kevin Berring. I think David Moyes has done a fantastic job. My only regret is he's very cautious when playing the top six. That's a little thing that he's got a crack, isn't he? A little knuck he's got a crack. Series 4000, Crichton. Hello, mate. Also, right back and centre back. We don't need right backs. We've got right backs. We've got Soufal, and I reckon, well, I think Fredericks will go, but we've got the young boy Johnson, who I think will be back up to Soufal. So I think we're okay there. Centre backs, I think it depends on what happens with regards to what happens with Winston Reid. He's come up with a championship medal. Will Brentford? There's rumour that Brentford want to sign him and keep him permanently. There's also talk about various youngsters coming through. Our Frederick Alves, who we signed in January, a couple of other youngsters. So it depends on whether Moyes wants to go into the market and get an established centre back, or whether he's going to give one of the youth a chance. So I agree with you on the centre back, but right back, I think we're okay. Father Snowman, Kevin, you said it all. The home game against Liverpool, who were there for the killing, absolutely. Maybe he'll change his attitude in the future. Foshizi, did you just say Junior Firpo plays foot? I think I said he likes to play flair football. I think he's a little bit of a Masuaku without that end product. Fresh fielder, Sean. It's a bit disconcerting when it's a player that's been hawked around to everyone. Baby Jack's been at the FIFA again. Yeah, he has been hawked around because they do need to sell him. Abu Ali Aliyah, hello mate, 100 grand a week. His agent is a magician. Can you sign me up and get me a job at Accrington Stanley playing 100 grand a week? Well, he came in with, they signed him. They got him fairly cheaply, something like 18 million pounds. As I said, they slapped 172 million pound salon fee in order to keep him, and they must have given him a massive fee to salary to sign as well. So they kind of cut off. They're stuck, aren't they? It's silly how big teams do that when they broke. Josh, hello mate. Josh Warren, Patson Daka apparently signing with the Premier League team after we bid 25 million for him. Don't know, mate. You've got to. Patson Daka, interestingly, is another rumor that was knocking around about the same time as the Junior Firpo one. We've been linked with Patson Daka before. It's not a new link. It's an old existing link. So I don't know how much truth there is in that. Decent player, decent striker, 25 million, decent value for him. I would agree. He's probably not on 100 grand a week as well. So that one may have a bit of legs in it. But the Junior Firpo one, bring you these stories because they're in the news, and sometimes you just got to knock them on the head and say there's not a lot of truth in them. Kevin, hello mate. If Moyes likes him, then be it. Absolutely, but I don't know if he's a Moyes type of player. I don't think Moyes would have looked at someone like him. Let's not forget, Moyes has looked at left backs and didn't bring anyone in. So There's a player much closer to home, a youngster, Brandon Williams, Man United, a youngster. He's been there or thereabouts in the first team, on the bench, etc. Brandon Williams may be on loan next season, might be a far, far better prospect and a far more realistic target than Junior Firpo. Kent Junior's performance-based contract for me with bonuses. But will he turn around and go, well, I'm on 100 grand a week and you're going to put me on a performance-based contract? I'm not sure he would, mate. Tamislav, hello, mate. How are you? 30 grand a week and let's see what you can do. Well, yeah, exactly. But like I just said, he's not going to want to drop that salary, is he? Daniela, how are you? Chelsea think because we're in for the Czech DCM, we will sell. No. Just because Kral's coming doesn't mean Declan's going. Absolutely not. Kimbo, he'd need to take a huge pay cut. Absolutely. Abu again. I can't believe that he'd be on 100 grand a week. Surely not. If that is true, then it won't happen. But I think it'll be more than nearer the 50 grand. I can only tell you what I read. I actually looked it up and I confirmed it just before I went online. How much does this player earn? Came back 100 grand a week. I checked it twice. And two separate websites about player wages came back the same. I can't believe it, Abu. I agree with you, but it seems to be that it might be true. Lathan Campo, I'd rather the priorities be Kral and Hlozek first. Let's forget Hlozek. I know we did a transfer story on Hlozek, I think yesterday. Anton did it. He's just signed a 3-year extension. It looks like Sparta Prague want to keep him. Kral, I absolutely agree. I do think we need a left back. I think we need several players. But I agree, Lathan. We need a striker. I don't think it's going to be Hlozek. I think we've got to forget that little dream. But Kral looks certainly a more realistic prospect. Robert, is he a swap deal for Arthur? Arthur's only on about 50, 60 grand a week. Kevin, is Moyes looking at Ross Barkley? So we're told, Kevin. So we're told. I don't think that's the priority. I think we're going to wait and see what happens with Jesse Lingard, and then if we find that we're not getting Jesse, then I'm sure Ross Barkley will probably be in the frame. So, to be honest, I really like Firpo, but his wages sound extortion. I think we should ask Barcelona to supplement some of his wages. Well, I don't think they're in that position to do so. Or get creative and look for a gem, or even sign Bertrand as a stopgap. I'm not for Bertrand, to be honest with you. I think I'd rather get a younger player in. I get it with Bertrand, certainly a lot of experience, but I'm not for him, to be honest. Ironclad. If his transfer fee has dropped because of lack of performances, game time, then surely his salary would drop too. Not necessarily. Players want to stay on a salary. Okay, let's drop his salary. Let's say we offer him 70 grand a week. That's still a lot of money. It might be a bit more fitting, but that's still going to sort of make other players turn around and go, hang on a minute. Well, I play a similar position. I'm nowhere near that salary. Victor, all managers make bad signings. That is true. Hugo, thank you, Kent. You always save the day for me. Scott Randall, a bit harsh on Crest to bring in a first team player. No, not really. Not really. Let's not forget, Scott. We're going to be in the Europa League next season, the Premier League. We've got to maintain our levels there, all the domestic cup competitions. If we go far in some of these, we can play, 38 league games. You could play and add on another, 15, 20 games. There's going to be enough game time for players. And someone like Cressy, who's not done anything bad, will probably need that rest. And we already admit it, that Masuaku is not a left back. So unless Moyes changes the system and drops Creswell to the bench for a few games to give him a rest and play 3 other centre backs, you're going to need, Creswell's going to need a rest. So I don't think it's because of he wants to replace Creswell. Obviously, we have to at one point, but I think it's more as a, to be able to. We're going to need strength in depth. The one thing that we've all been complaining about this season is not having strength in depth. When a player's gone out injured, on occasion we've struggled to get another player in. We've done well. Let's not beat around the bush. Players that have come in, like Ben Johnson's come in on the left side and he's done really well. But we need a natural left back. I think we've gone long enough, only having Creswell as that left back. Moyes to Everton, not on your life series. But please, I know it's easy to just get carried away in all the rooms that go on. But Moyes, why would Moyes want to go to Everton? Moyes has got A great setup at West Ham United. He's clearly talked to the owners and said, "This is the way I want to do things," and the owners have gone, "Fair enough." He's brought players in that he wants. He's got his own backroom staff. He's got all the setup. He has a big say in transfers, etc., etc. Why leave? No reason, no reason to go back to Everton. I know his heart is probably in Everton. He was there for many, many years, but he's seeing West Ham as a project. Everton aren't even in Europe. West Ham are in Europe. He sees West Ham as a big project to prove his worth again. Going back to Everton and just finishing sixth, seventh, eighth again with them kind of doesn't really prove much. He's already done it. This is a new project for him at West Ham United. He's about to sign, if he's not already signed, I believe, a 2 to 3 year contract, or 2 years with the year extension. So he's not going anywhere, mate. Abu. Don't think it's harsh, Scott. He needs proper competition for Creswell. And chances are, with his current form, you still play a good 70% of the games anyway. And with his age, slowly, season after season, let's go. Absolutely, I agree with that. Epic. Soufal is on 30 grand a week. This Spanish geezer better be world class if he gets anywhere near 100 grand. Absolutely. And by the way, Soufal is going to be offered a new contract. It's going to be upped. We can't lose him. 28 years of age, absolute diamond, £5.4 million. You're going to give him more than 30 grand a week, aren't you? James, hello, mate. Any idea who published that joke? I don't know, mate. Another one to avoid like the plague, mate. The trouble is when a silly story comes out, because everybody wants to jump on the back of it. One story comes out, and then all of a sudden, everybody else is publishing the same story. So all of a sudden, people think it's true. How many times do you need to tell a lie before it becomes the truth? That sort of saying. You tell a lie often enough, people end up believing it. And this is one of those stories. So I don't know which one started off, mate. Probably the Daily Mail or something like that. Daily Mirror, something like that. Morel, folks, hello, mate. Left back, centre back, central defensive midfielder, 2 strikers, what we need. Goalie, left back, centre defensive midfield, and at least 1 striker. I totally agree. Don't know yet on centre back. It really depends on what Moyes does. I'd be surprised if we do get 2 strikers, but I agree with you. And let's not forget, we've got to throw Lingard in there as well. So quite a few players we need, Morel. Kevin, do you think Ben Rama will be licking his lips now Brentford are back in the Premier League? I'm not so sure. Depends on how well they do. They might actually do decent, and yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. I tell you what, though, I bet you I think Moyes is going to treat him right next season, but there's a possibility Ben Rama might be thinking, I might get more game time if I was at Brentford next season. Maybe. Mark Alexander, Morel, and a keeper. Yeah, absolutely. You all agree. West Ham on tour. Hello, good afternoon to you. Late as always. Don't worry, I'm always late, so I wouldn't worry about that. Foe. I'd love Patson Daka. 25 million sounds like a potential bargain. I think, Daka could be a player that might be more, it might be a more realistic target. Series. Junior Firpo, I meant to say, can play anywhere at the back, according to Wikipedia, but mostly he does mostly play left back, and he can also play left wing back as well, and left midfield. Robert, why not just loan Junior Firpo? Don't know. Good shout though, Robert. Why not? That might be a better option for West Ham, and then that way maybe you can negotiate with Barcelona for them to pay some of his salary. Mark, I thought Daka was valued at 50 million a while ago. 25 seems a good shout. I think there may have been, but I think with the current market, I think 50 million might be a little bit too much for is it Salzburg that he's at to ask for. West Ham on tour. Daka could be a great replacement for Lingard. Well, Daka, yeah, it's possible. He'd actually he's more of a striker, but I get what you mean, more of a tap-minded player. Good evening, Stu. Good afternoon, Stu. I hope you're well. Sorry, I got distracted there. I hope you're well. Good evening, good afternoon, Jake. How are you? Abu again. At 100 grand, I agree still. Avoid. He could be next Marcelo, but not worth the risk. Bertram on a free as a stopgap. If we need to, we know that Moyes has said, he ain't going to overlook freebies. And if we need to, I'm not for it, but I get it if it's a stopgap. But we've got to stop doing stopgaps. But then again, he might need stopgaps and freebies, depending on how much money he's got to spend and where he believes he needs to prioritize. So it's a good shout. It's a good shout. Sean, Firpo has the same agent as Tony Martinez. True story. Martinez, and where did he, Didn't do too well here at us, did he? Series. Also, Southampton are interested. I would have thought 100 grand is out of their range for them as well. So that tells me he could accept lower wages for 13 4. Good shout. He might do. He might do. Ironclad. Closet extension is just clubs ploy to raise the fee. Well, that's what I think. But I know people say that Sufal did the same thing just before we signed him. They extended his contract, but he still only came for 5.4 million and 30 grand a week. So Klosek, I don't know, because people are talking about him being available for 20 million. So if he's just signed a 3-year contract, how many more millions are Sparta Prague going to want to add on to that 20 million? 5, 10 million? Mind you, he still might be worth that money. Mark, can't believe Barca would be paying 100 grand a week for a prospect in free. Well, this is the thing. He wasn't a prospect. He was one of the next big things, which is why he had a 172 million pound release clause in his contract that he signed from Betis to Barcelona. They thought he was going to be the next big deal. So I can understand why they thought this is going to be a great player. Everyone's going to be after him. 172 million pound sell-on clause, 100 grand a week salary. Scott, I thought Fredericks did a very good job as a replacement out of position for Creswell, better than Masuaku. I do too. I've got a feeling that Fredericks might go. He might not. He might not, but he might be one of the players that maybe Moyes might want to cash in on to raise some more funds for new players. Kevin, any news on goalkeepers? Nothing yet. Johnston, apparently we're being outpriced for him. Apparently West Brom want 20 million for him. We're not going to pay 20 million for him there. There was that other Marchesin from Porto, 33 years of age, and apparently they want 10 million for him. I just don't think. No, there's been 1 or 2 mentions of goalies, but nothing concrete as yet. Sean, Creswell's assists, etc., have masked his defensive deficiencies this year. We need that's cruel. I think he's done all right, actually. I think he's done all right, but I get what you mean. We do need a decent backup. Vinay, at Everton, he would have had to make it work within 6 months. Might not work. Oh, is that Vinay? Is that Moyes going to Everton? Yeah, I don't think Moyes is going to Everton at all. Jake, having a great half term. Thanks for asking. Doing loads of content on here and on my channel, and the weather is great. You sure are, mate. We're going to talk to you very soon. Tommy's Lab. Borna Barishik, left back, playing for Rangers. Good season, 28 years old, could be bargain. Thanks for that shout. Haven't heard of him, but yeah, good shout. GP, don't wind yourself up. If Rice has a good Euros, expecting to be linked to every team. He's already linked to every team. Hope Anton's okay in that cupboard. He's already linked to every team, isn't he? So I'm not wound up by it. I know Rice ain't going. He's more or less said it himself. Stu, Bobby, hello, you irons. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, mate, and thank you for joining us. Mark Alexandra, still, did you hear that Carlton Cole on Talk Sport? Why would Moyes go to Everton? Nostalgia club. Yeah, and he had an argument with, I can't remember who it was, another ex-player. Yeah, that was, I heard the snippet. It was quite funny. Vinay, a long Europa League run will improve West Ham stock, and West Ham could become a bigger team than Everton. I think we're on par. And when you look at the history, we've won cup competitions and European competitions and all that, just like Everton have in the past. But as it stands now, they may have a bit more money than us, but I think we're on par. Victor, what about Max Aarons of Norwich City? Can play right back or left back, but they've come up. So will they sell Max Aarons? And if they do, how much for? West Ham on tour. Why would Moyes leave to go to a club who's not in Europa, exactly, or any European competitions? Not going nowhere. People need to stop listening to crap and only believe what's actually confirmed. Bang on. Absolutely, 100% agree with you. We do get carried away. We read things. Like I said, you read it once, you read it twice, you read it 10 times on 10 different online channels, etc., and all of a sudden your head goes, it must be true. It must be true. But I agree, West Ham on tour. Nowhere near the truth. Forge from Irons. Good afternoon. Afternoon to you. Sun is shining. It sure is. And I've got to finish in a minute because I've got to go and play football in this sun. Yeah, me, fifth football. God, I'm knackered after 5 minutes. Ironclad. Norwich have said that none of their players will leave unless there's a fee of 30 million plus. And I don't see why they would want to sell. They don't want to go back down again. They want to keep their decent players. John Layton on West Ham Twitter page says Everton to make decision. On what? Everton to make what decision? He's going to stay. I laugh at it like you, John. It's ridiculous. That what decision they're going to make? They might. I'm not. They might well approach Moyes and say, "Are you interested?" But I think Moyes is a man of his word. He's already agreed a new contract with West Ham, and he ain't going anywhere. Mark Daka, similar to Antonio, quick and strong. If Moyes is looking for a straight replacement, he's the closest link yet. Daka, Klosek, or Abraham, I'm happy with any of them. Daka, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a goal machine. Klosek, well, we've seen what he can do. Absolutely. Abraham, I'm a little bit more reticent on Abraham. No, I don't know. Sean, Daka is off to Leipzig, another Red Bull club. So that might be very true. D Lee, I'm so old. I ain't got a clue of these players you're talking about. Do you all play FIFA or what, mate? I'm probably as old as you are. And the only reason why I know anything remotely about these players is because I have to do the research for the shows. Otherwise, I'm on your level, mate. Otherwise, I wouldn't know who the hell they are. And there's other people that mention, oh, what about so and so of this club? And I'm like, I haven't read about him, so I don't know anything about the player that you're mentioning. Father Snow, Buffon on the free. I've read this. Loves West Ham. Um, he's 43. He's not 38. He's 43 years of age, Buffon, apparently. Yeah, but I know he loves West Ham. He's mentioned West Ham in his book about the fans and everything, and how he fell in love with it because of the fans. The way they are. Buffon ain't 38. He's 43. He's almost as old as I am. Series 4. Why is Lingard playing the friendly and not going to the Euros? Weird. Don't know. Apparently, there are a few players that are resting, the Chelsea players and the Man City players because of the Champions League final at the weekend. A few players carrying knocks and they're in the squad. Grealish played what? Twice. He's been out since February. He's played twice or something since he's been back in the squad. And Lingard on form, not in the squad, but he happens to be playing tonight. And Southgate went, oh, I hope he'll prove me wrong in the game tonight. What the what? I don't get it. I don't get it. What if Lingard has a smashing game, and then what? Is Southgate going to then turn around and go, sorry, Grealish, I'm dropping you now. I'm going to bring Lingard in. I don't get it. Now, all right. There is some reason to the rhyme, because if Lingard does have a good game, and if someone does get injured from the squad, then Lingard might be one of the ones that might be called in. But yeah, it's odd. It's odd. It's very odd. Scott, I have faith in Moyes is going to bring in hard-working players that will work in our system. I expect 1 or 2 Czech players. I also believe young players we want to come to our team, not the usuals. I totally agree, Scott. Yeah, I totally agree. Forged, is Kent on here? He was, or he is. He advocates Armenia be... I don't know what you're talking about. And I think you might be winding me up because I know other people have been doing it. Daily, are we desperate for a keeper? I don't know if we're desperate for a keeper. What? Get him. Get him. I know we're desperate. I know. I'm not saying we're desperate for a keeper, but Fabianski, he's been injured a few times, and we're worried about that. He's kind of finished the season almost in a way where we just thought, he's almost been like in out, in out. Randolph, I've never really rated Randolph, certainly not the first time, and I don't rate him anymore the second time round. I just think Randolph is just like not a goalie that will compete with Fabianski. Fabianski's what 1 season left. I like to see a keeper that will come in that's going to not be a backup, but is going to be in competition with Fabianski, and then sort of take on that goalie mantle when Fabianski retires at the end of next season. So, are we desperate? Maybe not. Do we need keeper? I think we do. I think we do, Lee. Scott, usually we've got aging over their due. Usually we got aging over their due date players. I kind of get what we're saying is we will normally get the has-beens, players who have finished their seasons coming to West Ham. But Moyes ain't going to do that. Victor, I don't think we will sign a goalie. We will go with what we have got for 1 more season, save money on outfield players. I don't know. I think we will. I think we might do. Sean, goalie Matvey Safonov at Krasnodar, Russian international. He'll do. See what I mean, D. Lee? I ain't got a clue who Sean's talking about there. Matvey Safonov. I hope you're not winding me up, Sean. I do often get you lot doing, if I say it in a particular way, it sounds rude or whatever. But I've got, what I'm going to start doing from now on, when you lot mention a name, I'm going to Google it and see if it's the real. Stuart, Rice isn't going anywhere still. Neither is Lingard or Moyes. Pathetic press. Absolutely. I hope Lingard stays. It was Jamie O'Hara. Exactly. That's who it was that, what's his name? Carlton Cole had a bit of an argument with. Frank Bacchus, any more news on Crown? No more news. I mean, Sparta Prague come out today. Spartak Moscow have come out today and went, what's all this nonsense about Král signing for West Ham? They've kind of but then they came out later and said, yeah, we might sell Král. I think it will happen. I think he'll be one of the players that we will bring in. I think we just got to bide our time, but I reckon it'll happen. But no more updates than what we've had over the past few days. D-Lee, now Everton were mustard in the 80s, titles and cups. We didn't. Yeah, good point. GP, Stuart Kate, if Chelsea want him, I could see him going now with them winning the Champions League and his hungry hippo mates Mount being there. He won't go. He won't go. Let's see what happens with this season coming up. Series 4000. As the $1 Million Man says, everybody's got a price. Moyes to Everton. Everyone does have a price, but I don't think Moyes will go. Jonathan Boyce, hello, mate. From what I'm reading, West Ham transfer policies to loan everyone with an option to buy. So we're spending 60 million in loans. I don't know, mate. I think we will buy a few. We will secure a few players. I don't dispute. We will get a couple of loan signings. We will probably get a couple of freebies in order to mix it up. But I think Moyes will probably go and buy 3 or 4 players. And if he needs to boot, and one of them may be Lingard. And then if he needs to boost the squad, he may get a couple of loan signings, may go and look for some freebies. But I don't think it'll be all loan signings. I don't believe that. Didn't do Fulham that much good, did it really, when they did that last season? Vina, have we discussed Lingard yet? I haven't been discussing him because I wasn't meant to discuss him, and I'm already late for my football. Is Southgate bonkers? Don't include Jesse, but select him for next friendly game. Exactly. Stu, Irons United update. Steelers to miss 4 to 6 weeks of training after a groin injury in this afternoon's friend. At this rate, I won't be playing a game at all. Scott, the refreshing thing under Moyes is that we don't get any leaks. He goes out and signs a player we learn of when it happens. That is very, very true. Do I play walking football? No, I don't actually, and I should do because I'm dead art the day after. John, West Ham Twitter page just posted that Everton to make decision on Moyes and Moyes to open talks. Why would they post that? To conjure up rumour. That's the only thing I can believe. I don't think he's open to talks. I don't think he is. I'm going to jump a few because I really do have to go. Why are the media referring to the Euro tournament as Euro 2020 when it's 2020? Apparently, UEFA wanted to keep it as Euro 2020. Good evening, Drew Villas Marbella. We're still waiting for that sponsorship deal with you. Kevin, I'm getting in trouble still with the wife. She says West Ham were taking over your life. Did you see her popping in? She was like, she's gone out. And I really do have to go. So I'm going to have to cut a few people off, I'm afraid. Sean, Matvey Safonov is not a wind-up. He's a 22-year-old goalkeeper. Fo has confirmed it as well. He's already 20. Okay, I believe you. Good evening, Troj. Firpo looks and sounds like Masuaka version 2. Might do. I think he's more defensive minded, but he does like to get forward, if that kind of makes sense. Troj, 5 out of 10 for concentration. John Layton, Lingard playing tonight as Henderson's injured, Rashford injured, Sterling out. These are all players that are going to the tournament. Grealish played 2 games since his injury in February. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Vinay, West Ham could sign Total wind up, yeah. Tomislav, Dominic, GK, goalkeeper Dominic Livakovic at Dinamo Zagreb, also Croatian #1. Europa League experience, too good for Croatian League. Lille looking at maybe 20 million. 20 million. That's the thing, though. I don't think Moyes will pay that much for a goalie. Are you playing crawling football? Right, I've got to go. I'm really David of Lazarus. Go football dressed as a hammerette, then you don't need to run around for more than 5. If I dressed as a hammerette, I'd get nicked. Closet reminds me of Arnie with his physicality, but more flair and higher potential. Who was that? Right, I gotta go. I gotta go. I really have got to go. Oh, greetings from Italy. Ciao, come stai? Tutto bene from What Glory? Thank you for joining us. I've got to go. Draco from India. I can't speak Indian. So thank you for joining as well. Thanks for commenting. See you all later and have a really good afternoon or a really good evening. And see you tomorrow.